Ed Wengren, a research associate with New Jersey Farm Bureau.
Ed, there was a bill in the Senate Energy and Environment Committee today that had to do with pesticides and pesticides applications. Would you tell me what the bill is all about and your position, the farm community?
So the bill would essentially require, as part of your pesticide licensing certification, education in recognizing and dealing with pollinators, bees, and the native bees in the state. So applicators, when doing applications for whether it's crop protection or homeowner insect control, that they recognize these populations and take the appropriate actions in doing a pesticide application. So we feel education is important. The beekeeping industry in the state of New Jersey is an important part of the agriculture industry. So making pesticide applicators more aware of the issues surrounding bees and bee population, we feel is an important policy.
You know, there was a recent story about spraying in other states for the Zika virus. And some of these stories said that in spraying for that, to take care of that problem, it did significant harm to bee colonies. I can't remember which state it was.
So it was South Carolina,
Yeah.
and basically what happened was an aerial application of a contact pesticide, so something that comes in contact with the insect, kills it automatically. And so in spraying for the mosquitoes, beehives, hives of beekeepers were also hit, and the bees flew back to the hive and died on the spot. And so the beekeepers lost several hives that they use for both honey production and pollination services. Ideally, what should have happened was the beekeeper should have been notified by the state that this aerial application is going to be taking place, and usually overnight a beekeeper will close up a hive, and so then the bees don't come in contact with the chemical. The way that particular one works is it's a contact one. Pretty much once the sun comes up or it's exposed to daylight in the environment, it dissolves. So it doesn't impact, it doesn't have a residual impact where they would pick it up off the flowers or anything like that. So, you know, it was a lack of communication, and this is what this whole program would be designed to do, is to make sure applicators know who to notify, when to notify, and also beekeepers who also use pesticides at times are more aware of how to properly use the chemicals.
I'm Kelly Moy. I'm the Vice President of Government Relations for New Jersey Audubon.
Kelly, you testified today on a bill that has to do with pesticides. Tell me a little bit about why your organization finds this so important and what you said today.
We testified in support of S2078. It's a bill by Senator Bateman and Senator Smith related to continuing education for commercial pesticide applicators. We think it's particularly important and an easy first step in making sure that there isn't overuse, misuse, and misapplication of pesticides that can have impacts on a lot of our pollinators in New Jersey.
Now, you mentioned in your testimony, I think, native pollinators. Tell me, what does that mean?
So we have a wealth of species in New Jersey, including a tremendous amount of pollinators. There are 500 native pollinators. These include about 400 native bees, including bumblebees and the like, and also moths and butterflies throughout New Jersey. And they perform tremendously important services for both our agriculture and for our economy, as well as our ecosystem. So these native bees can pollinate everything from our native flowering plants to providing pollinator insurance for our European non-native honeybees that are doing a lot of work for our agricultural industry. It's particularly important that we note how valuable they are to our economy. In New Jersey, we have a great industry of cranberries and blueberries, and native pollinators do an even better job than European honeybees on pollinating for our cranberries and blueberries, because they're willing to work in adverse, colder, wetter conditions, and they provide us with those resources. But in addition to that, they do a lot in the ecosystem related to aerating soils and providing food sources, in fact, for other species throughout New Jersey. So they are incredibly vital. It's been said that 1 of every 3 mouths of food that we have worldwide is as a result of pollinators, so we can't really underestimate the importance of pollinators, including native pollinators, in our economy and in our ecosystem as well.
Well, it's good to hear that the Jersey bees are working a little harder than everybody else, you know.
As per usual, longer, harder hours, yeah.
Kelly, worldwide, bee pollinations have been under stress in recent years, and how bad is the situation here in New Jersey?
It's a challenging situation in New Jersey, and I think we can see around the world that it's been really problematic. We've seen significant population declines. There are a lot of stressors on bee populations, and for example, in the European honeybee, there are mites and fungus that have been impacting the honeybee. Similarly, there are various threats related to habitat decline. What we have seen from pesticides, however, is that exacerbates some of the issues that we have with our bee population. So, for example, there can be lethal and sublethal impacts from pesticides. Some of the sublethal impacts can have long-term impacts on the population, and those can include things like loss of navigational skills and inability to reproduce, which long-term can have an impact on the population.